Welcome, hello, Yasu, hi, my name is Ty Körner, and today we will dig into the series again, demon, allies and other entities, and the reasons why they even work with human. So what is their benefit? Why are they doing it at all? So this is where we dig into today. To those who don't know me yet, make sure to subscribe my channel if you want to stay updated. Also, I will give you a little intro so you know where I'm coming from. My name is Ty Körner. I'm an author. I'm a black magician. I'm a follower of the Draconian path, so I am working with other entities of other planes of the Clifford, but also from nature. And this is where I want to get into today. Also, I am a student of the Left-Hand Order Dragon Rouge. While I'm a student, I just tell you so you know my background about. I'm not a representative. So if you got any curious questions there or want to know more, check for the dragonrouge.com at internet. As said, I'm not a representative of. So, and the other thing is I'm a natural born empath. So this is very much helping me, especially on entities which are not written in grimoires or which are not communicating in a verbal way. So you're working on energy essence base, and this is one point as well which gets into that. So what is the intentions of them to even think about working with us? And also, who are they? In particular, because there are beings which are lighter, there are beings which are darker, and there are beings in between, and as for their origin, their reasons differ as well. So this is where I want to cast some light onto today. Let's start on the light entities. The light entities are all about balance, unification with the God they are aligned to. And from the left-hand path sides, you could say their purpose is to guide the humanity or the people to become an essence which is able to re-merge to the creator essence, which they call God. So it's basically a reunification with the creator God. And there are different teachings, different scholars. So if they believe in reincarnation, it's about teaching you, and you're lucky because they teach you lives and lives and lives and lives and lives until you're finally ready to remerge to the overall essence. In Christianity, you're a little fucked about that. You got one life. And if you wreck it and if you don't behave as they want to, you're going to hell. And if you're doing as they want to, you get to heaven. So basically you're merging with the overall entity or you're casting to the waste, as for the Christian definition. So this is basically their purpose. They are teachers which are working in the purpose of this overall God, which they are bound to, and they work in his service. So this is basically what they do, and it can be lighter entities like angels, but also devas may happen to be deliverers, to teach people to become a better self, to fit to this remerging process. However, about devas, that's why I put up my eyes. Devas might be a very bright ones, but there are also some devas which are dark and light. And so there you see it's not that judgment as in Christianity. So just stay on the term of lighter beings. Usually want you to bind into this creator essence again, and so they teach you on beneficial evolvements which enable you to remerge to this overall entity. There is something quite in the opposite direction. There are also dark entities which might help a practitioner to finally dissolve within the primal chaos. This I will get into later, but this is about purpose today. So they are in service to their creator. So they don't want anything from you except learning and remerging. So to become a part of that God again. The darker entities are quite the opposite of that. They are often original gods of other previous religions. So they were blasphemed and demonized by later religions. And now there is a point. Either you can connect to this older entity, which were earth goddesses or primal life essence gods, and or you can check in for the newer, younger definition of them. This is when they become demonized, and so you get the dark and the light aspect of them. These gods or demon did either keep their old frames of character, or they did pervert into that character they were made of. So they were proclaimed of being. And others were simply disappointed. In old legends you find, for example, the jinn, where it is said that their god did create, so the creator did do the jinn, and after that he made the human, but he did like the human even more, and so the jinn were pissed. And basically this is why they don't like human, because God did like them even more. A quite similar thing you find on the angel stories, that there are angels which are very aligned to their creator God, and there are others which are called fallen angels, which are just about rebellion against this creator God. So these are different aspects of entities you can face. So and then there are some entities which are in between, which are either earth stream connected entities, so basically a part of the soul of this planet we are living, or of the universe we are living in, or it is entities which are even beyond our veils, so in other dimensions. This is even more difficult to read, because they are connected to the primal essence, so to the primal chaos space. I will get into this, but let's start on those who are the most near to us. The most near to us are, for example, enjoying the benefits of flesh. They are enjoying the currently revolution about, and so they are good teachers. To pick the three most famous, or probably four, it is one, Lucifer is somebody who is really in teaching. So learn, 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 crack the veil, see beyond it, see the truth, learn it yourself. Basically you can say that Lucifer is somebody like Garden Eden apple. He wants you to know, he wants you to see, and his benefit is the rebellion when it comes to the historical or the legend, that he was cast out of skies because of rebelling against God. And so now he wants to make the people, the enslaved human, which are just existing to be a pleasure to this creator God, he wants them to see what betray is going on. And so he is all about teaching. When it comes, for example, to Belial, he is not that educative one. He is more the rebellious act. He is crushing the outer social frames. You might get into drug addiction, into violence, into rage, into patterns which are not accepted by society. He is not doing this for you, but he is triggering this kind of behaviors, and by doing so you will crash with the social frames, and so you will get a flashback about how society is directed and guided and trained to function in a certain way for a certain purpose. So Basically, it is a bunch of sheep which are guided by a handful of people, and this is what Belial is cracking apart. And by making you to break the social rules, he is teaching on you to develop an own side of this society and to find your own place within. So to tear away the veils of this society has to be this or that way. It doesn't have to be this or that way. It's just a rulership. And as long you don't see this rulership, you are one of the sheep. And Belial is one of them who is cracking these frames. The other one, what is quite active, is Samael, a quite prominent one, mostly along with Lilith. So that's why I said 3 or 4. Lilith and Samael are this couple of fire, as for my words. They are introducing into sin, into sexual rage, into pervert sex and whatever. So, and this is not about sexual living. On one side, yes, because if you see, for example, Christianity, now they are telling like this is sin, this is just for procreation, and before they had orgies there. So yeah, I don't need to dig into that. Just follow up the news, how great this works on them. It does not work at all, by the way. However, Samael and Lilith are the quite opposite. They are dancing on the fire. I could say about Lilith, put in the armor as well. However, it is all about fire, and this fire, this desire, this arrangement is not just for procreation. It is a magical process to learn about life force. And there will follow a new chapter 2 about succubi and incubi, and there I will get back for Samael and Lilith again, because this is quite interesting as well. But they are strong entities to learn from, and they are entities which can teach you very much about energy streams. And so why do they do? This is connected to the succubi thing. And it is again a rebellion against Eve cast out of Garden Eden, against Samael being proclaimed the devil, what is basically a dark side of this God creator. But this is another topic again. So this about the cliphotic deities or demons as you see them. Also there are the jinn. When you go for the Arabic areas, there is here in Germany or here in Europe, basically, most people get for 1001 Night stories. Forget about that. That's the first case. Most jinn do hate people, and they do not do any wishes if you rob a can. So, but as they were betrayed by their god, or they feel betrayed by their god because he did love human even more than them, a left-hand path practitioner who is liberating and unchaining from this creator god, he basically falls into disgrace to this god. So this is something what sometimes makes a jinn curious. So instead of hating this human, he becomes curious, because he is not the loved one I thought he is. And so if you also get into touch with respect, accepting that he is the older one, asking him for teaching you up because he is the older one, and also making clear that you're not aiming for being the loved kid of this creator, but aiming to be in evolution, in growing yourself, this maybe can trigger his curiosity. So, but not be mistaken and ask him for stupid stuff like a childlike material gods or human business like love, fame, or something like this. This is what jinns are not really interested to. Also, there are entities which are pure energy streams. They are mostly located directly on Earth or in cosmic frame, and their purpose is to teach us the complexity of our organism we are living in, because everything is connected. We got scientists who claim that we got stardust in our brains, so fragments of minerals which are part of the very early time of creation still in our bodies manifested. This is quite interesting because it is everything connected. If we got no air, we die. If we got no water, we die. If there is nothing growing, we cannot have anything to eat. So everything is in a cycle, is connected. And as my musen sometimes says, you have to dig the garden to plant a flower. And this is all this cyclic structure this organism has. It is basically, imagine all the earth and all the cosmos like one physical body. Now look at your physical body. You got certain bacteria in your body, which makes sure you have a good distinguishing, which makes sure the eaten stuff is recycled in a way your body can use it, and which is harvesting the water or the sugar or the protein, whatever. So it is it is an own organism, and in the same way the earth is working, and in the same way the cosmos is working. So now watching this earth, I would have said this earth has a parasite, but this is something else to discuss. But these entities, if they are teaching to you, it is basically to make you understand that everything is related to each other's, that everything is depending on each other's. And I really hope we never make them for enemy. Because if we make them for enemy, they just trigger new mutations. They just trigger some new developments on plants, on animals, on air, on chemics, whatever. So they are just energy. And we are not that important. We just think we are. So I hope we never make them enemy. However, there are other entities as well, and these are entities which are even far more out. These are other dimension entities. And this is very hard to communicate with because they do not use language. They do not use any physical bodies, or probably we cannot see them. My perceptions with a few of them was just in an emotional, energetically way of reading frequencies. And on this base you can communicate, but they do not care about us. We are very, very different, both in our style of living, both in our frequency and in our life pattern. First of all, they are very much more older than we. They mostly have no body we could see, and there is no simple yes or no question you can talk to them. They are teaching by frequencies. So, but mostly they do not even care if you travel there and pass by. They are not really interested into you. So, but also there is some science fiction. You know, the old ones burning the world, and there's some other film like The Tower. I think it was The Tower, where the old tower is protecting the world before the entities which are coming from another dimension occupying and burning down it. That's science fiction bullshit. They are really not into us, and they do not feel any need to even take contact to, not to even speak from burning down what we got here, because there is no need. We are not relevant to them. We are like a little bug crawling aside the floor, and they just turn around the head and say, what is this crawling there? But that's all. Probably you catch their interest, so they watch at you. And this watching at you is a connection of energy. And through this connection of energy, you can learn from them. So maybe you can make it that far so they get curious for you. If they get curious for you and you're able to read their energy, and if you are able to understand what they are transmitting to you, you could learn about a totally different life force, a totally different frame of existence. But it is not that they see any benefit in teaching you. They are just curious what a little whatever is crawling by there. And if you get too near, you can easily be burned by their frequency, not because they are nasty, just because they are very strong, very old, and some of them got an energy which is nearly nuclear craft compared to ours energy. And if we did not work on ourselves, on our energy pattern to become able to get closer to, we are burning us if getting too close. So it's none of them. In very rare cases, it might happen that such an entity is indeed curious about you, about this little bug, because there is something on your essence they recognize. And this is something when they get into contact to you by themselves, but only because they are curious about this known fragment. It can be a known fragment of an entity you are carrying, or if you are a follower of rebirth thought. So let's say basically if your energy body is embracing a new existence, a new existence, and a new existence, if you believe into that, maybe you were not from Earth realm. Maybe you were not from this realm. And in that cases, you probably carry a trace of this other dimension within you. And this is the trace this entity is sensing on you. So, but this is a very rare case. It doesn't happen very often. So if you enter a portal into another dimension and you meet another entity, you should, in very first thought, you should keep a distance, because they are very strong. And even if you are related in any case, it did water out. So probably you can communicate, and probably they are interested even to communicate and to find out why this bug carries an essence which is known to them, but you should stay in distance. So this about them. But this was just a put in. My musen did introduce to lime into that, because yes, most will never ever be able to communicate with them. They are just blown away by their presence. But sometimes, yes, that's right, sometimes they take contact. They do not see any specific need or value or interest in us. So this about the different entities and their reason to work with us or to teach us. Next time it will be about demon and entities and allies. What do they need as for nutrition when they are near you? What is it what keeps them alive and what makes them stay with you? Because everything has to nourish from something, and we are eating plants, probably we are eating animals, so we are consuming life force. What are they consuming to stay alive? And what should you keep an eye on when you're working with them? So this will be next video. I wish you a wonderful one and see you next time.